Welcome back to the 12 days of Wolfmas. This is day number 10, and through the first 9 days, we're up a whopping 81.55, and I'm giving every single penny away to you guys, the viewers. All the info on how to win your shares in the middle of the video, but as for now, we're gonna play some 2-5 in the Bahamas at the WSOP Paradise Series. I start playing the 2-5 and then halfway through the video get into 1-2. Why? Because Alan Keating is there donking off $500 buy-ins left and right, and I wanna get my share for you guys. I've been playing out of my mind in the last 3 episodes. I'm up $3,500 and a little bit more of the same here when I look down at Queen Jack and I 3-bet Adam's $15 open. He puts in the call and the flop comes 10-6-4. Action goes check check and the turn gives me an open-ended straight draw, so when he checks it over to me for a second time, I decided to go half pot for $45. Adam puts in the call and the river card is a brick. It's a board pairing 4 of clubs. He now leads out into me for $75, and I think he's gonna have a lot of busted spade draws, some queen jack as well, maybe jack 8, and then some random pocket pairs that just want to get to a showdown for a cheap price. So I decided to raise him around the size of the pot to 275. This is just a pure read. I've been going with my reads recently, like at the fort against Adam, so I also want to trust them here when I think I need to go for the bluff and Adam will fold. Sure enough, after a little bit of tanking, Adam relinquishes his cards. I immediately show the bluff queen jack offsuit and he shows me the ace of spades. So he was debating calling down there with ace high potentially. Still $537 coming my way in a pot that most people I think find the fold instead of the creative raise. So playing out of my mind here already in the very first hand, and then we get into it with a subscriber, Alex, there across the table in the yellow flannel, raises it up to $15 and the player in seat 9 puts in the call. I 3-bet both of those opponents to $55 and Alex 4-bet jams for $106. Normally a 4-bet is pretty strong, it probably still is, but given the fact it's only $106, I decided to call here against a subscriber. I want him to make the vlog. All right, heads up to a flop here, which comes ace 8-5. The turn is a brick. The river card gives me a pair, so $230 may be coming our way until he tables jack king off. So I have him crush pre-flop, but he hits the turn and the river for 2 pair. It's going over his direction, but at least if someone's taking my money, it's one of our own. All right, enough of the 2-5 high stakes, nosebleed stakes. Let's drop down to a fun 1-2 game with none other than Alan Keating. Some of the advisory board here for GG and WSOP. Fun game, a dream session here. I look down at 8-9 of diamonds. I have a full $500 in our stack, which is the maximum. I'm in the cutoff and I make it $15 to go. Alex puts in the call. Alan 3-bets to $95 and it folds around to me. Given the fact I'm in position against Alan here, I put in the call. We lose Alex and heads up to a flop which comes ace 9-3 with 2 diamonds. Pretty sweet, and Alan of course does not slow down to the tune of $75. Got a call here with a pair and a flush draw. This is obviously what we had planned when we called him pre-flop. The turn comes the queen of diamonds. Bang, we turn the flush. Alan slows down and checks, so I take up the betting lead for $100.
100. See, now I've caught you doing what's called floating.
Floating?
And now you're putting money into a winless.
Okay, you must. And he snap calls. The river card is not great. Puts a 4-liner to the flush. He checks over to me, and I go 10% the size of the pot for Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo, Alan. How do we play against the Cinco de Mayo bet?
I want to raise you so bad.
Oh, you do? And when he calls me and I show the 9-high flush, he mucks his cards. If you want to be one of the 7 lucky winners that gets flown down to Champions Club in Houston, Texas, and given a free buy-in to play with Lucas and myself, here's how to enter. I'm giving away 2 seats to channel members, so you have to hit join and become a channel member to be eligible for that. 2 people will be picked from signing up on Club WPT Gold using code Wolfgang, and the remaining the same way as last year from that sign up sheet down in the description. As always, you need to be subscribed and comment on all 12 videos to be eligible. Good luck and happy Wolfmas. All right, Sven opens it up to 10. There's a call. I 3-bet to 40. Alan calls and the 2 other players do as well. We're going 3 ways to the flop, which gives me 2 pair, and I bet out for Cinco de Mayo. Alan's the only player to put in the call, and the turn comes the 9 of diamonds. I slow down and check. I'm either way ahead or way behind, and Alan's just gonna blast off here when you give him some rope. So he fires out for $100, and of course I have to call. The river card isn't great. It comes the 9 of clubs. We're losing to any 7, any 9, any better queen, and Alan jams for 310. I don't snap call because I'm just thinking for a second how he got there on us, but after a little bit of debate, wait. I just know I can't fold against a guy who's trying to make some fun content for all these cameras that are around the table. So ultimately I do call. He turns over a worse hand, ace-4 offsuit, and this $1,100 is coming our way. Yes, you guys, I just stacked Alan Keating in a hand, and I'm taking down a nice sized pot for you guys. All right, I make it $15 to go over a $5 raise. Two players to my left put in the call. The initial raiser calls as well, so 4 ways to a flop, which gives me an open-ended straight draw with 5, 4, 3, 2 spades. Action checks around, bringing in the spade flush, which comes the jack of spades. I call a $25 bet from Alan, and the river card gives me the straight, but it brings in the 4-liner to the flush.
That changes things.
It does.
Don't ignore the spade.
7 of spades is an interesting card, and Alan bets out for $50. It's a cheap price. I'm going to give him some action here and call, and he turns over the 10-8 of spades. So we made a flush on Alan earlier on, and he paid us off, and now the reciprocal is happening. I pay him off, though, in a much smaller pot. Okay, now we're even. All right, there's a raise to 10, a 3-bet. I decide to flat here with ace-king offsuit. A lot of reasons why. I won't get too into the weeds here. Alex puts in the call to my left, and Alan jams for 260. That was one of the reasons. If you just call here, Alan always wants to get more chips in the middle. 260 is the new price of poker until Skirmitsu jams for $500. We lose the 3-better. Action's on me. Of course, I'm not going anywhere. I call the $500, and Alex does as well. So a 4-way pot here. This is the one we want to win. $1,700 in the middle, and the flop is not great for us. 10-10 deuce. The turn and river do not improve us. Maybe there's a chance we're beating king, queen, ace, jack, ace, queen, and no one wants to show their cards, which is great news, but it turns out that Skirmitsu was kind of slow rolling the table here with quads. 10s, pocket 10s, just flop quads, flop everyone pretty much dead here. Alex had ace jack of diamonds and Alan Keating had pocket 9s, so we were flipping against 10s and 9s and crushing ace jack of diamonds, but unfortunately the odds did not go in our favor. $1,700 going over to Skirmitsu. All right, a bunch of limpy poos here. 1, 2, 3, 4 limps to $2, and I look down at the best hand. Of course, I got a 10x this to $20 to go. Sven's the only one to put in the call, and we flop ourselves an overpair on a king 7-5 board. I check out of position, and he checks behind, bringing in the 10 of hearts, to which I Cinco de Mayo it for $55, and of course, Sven is interested in a good time. He puts in the call, and the river card comes a brick. It's the deuce of hearts, is 309 in the middle, and we have to go a variant of the Cinco de Mayo all the way up to 100 in Cinco de Mayo, and Sven folds his card. So picking up pocket aces is great, but only winning a pretty small pot here at 1-2. All right, there's a $10 open. I 3-bet it up to $30 with a very playable hand, jack 9 of spades. Of course, Alan puts in the call, Camila calls, and Skirmitsu calls. We're going 4 ways to a flop. Alan, can I see your stack?
Oh, dear God.
He's not talking.
My remaining stack after calling your bet is $4.
It's crazy as those look like red chips, but they're still only worth $1. Which gives me second pair on a 10-9-7 1 spade board. Alan Keating does not have many chips. He jams for $4 and both players call. I do a little bit of trolling here and make it $8 to go, which both players obviously snap call. The turn comes the queen of clubs and the action checks over to me. I decide to check it behind, which brings in the 9 of clubs on the river. Bang, we river trips. Camila checks, Skirmitsu bets $4. I make it Cinco de Mayo, $55, and he folds. We're gonna take this pot down when Alan mucks his cards. $207 coming my way. All right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 limpers over to me. I make it a quarter to go. This raise was super effective because 1, 2, 3, 4 players want to go to a flop. It's 5 ways here, and the flop gives me a flush draw on a king 6-6 2 spades board. The action checks over to Sven in the cutoff, who bets out for $60, having the jack high flush here. I'm gonna put in the call. At this point, I'm putting Sven on either a king or a 6, so it's pretty easy to play my hand from here on out, especially when the turn comes the 5 of spades. Bang, we turn the flush. I'm gonna lead out right into Sven. If he has a king, he's probably gonna check behind if I check it over to him. So I wanna get some value here, and I don't think he's going to raise me with a 6. So sure enough, I fire out for $100, and Sven calls, and the river river card is a disaster. It comes the king of clubs, pairs the board, so now any king or 6 has a boat. Nothing for me to do other than check it over to Sven. I expect he's gonna bet and I have a pretty easy fold, unfortunately with a very good hand, but he checked behind showing 6-4 offsuit, so we flopped 3 of a kind. The board came good for us on the turn and screws us on the river. That should have been our pot, Sven. Enjoy those chips while you have them, but you better believe I gotta win some of those back for the viewers. All right, the poker gods are on our side. After screwing us in that last hand, we pick up the Cowboys, except I'm not in Texas. I'm all the way on a small island in the Caribbean. Hey! Oh, my man! And of course, I have to go a variant of the Cinco de Mayo, $555. It's a fiesta, boys. Let's play for a bunch of chips. Alan Keating does not want to miss out on a good time. He jams for $420. We got to be ahead of his range at this point. Josh puts in the call. We lose the 4-better, so we're going 3 ways to a flop. Everybody's all in. We have everyone covered. A great spot. We definitely have the equity advantage, although against 2 other opponents, we still have to sweat a bunch of cards. The board runs out 10, 6, 4, 7, king, so we make a set on the river, but a flush is available. There's also a straight being 5-8 and 8-9. Alan Keating could easily have one of those hands, as you all know, but when no one wants to turn over their cards, I don't want to slow roll everyone any longer, so I turn over the rivered set. Alan Keating turns over ace-10 of hearts, so actually a pretty good holding from him there, and we are going to take down a nearly $1,300 pot. Josh does not show his cards, but we're happy for his small donation.
We know what time it is. We know what time it is. Dang. Dang, no, Keating. I'm dead.
All right, it just keeps getting better and better in this session. We upgrade from pocket kings to pocket aces. A bunch of limps over to me, and of course, we're not gonna go for that. I bump it up to the tune of $30. Alan puts in the call, Camila calls, and 2 other players call as well. Off to a flop we go, which comes ace, king, queen, bang, we flop top set. Unfortunately though, it's a pretty scary board. There's a diamond flush available, jack 10 is the nuts. When it checks to me, I bet out small here for $35. We wanna see a clean turn and a clean river before we start piling money in the middle. Alan calls, and then Camila calls. Off to a turn we go, which is safe. It comes the 3 of hearts. The action checks over to me, and I bet out for $125. Alan's smart enough to get out of the way here when I'm betting 2 streets into multiple opponents.
Seriously? That's so annoying. I'm already
Well, if I'm trying to bang you, the pot has to be big.
But Camila does not have very much behind. She puts in the call, and the river card pairs the board on the 3 of diamonds. I'm worried about absolutely nothing here. We're only losing to pocket 3s, which seems unlikely. So I turn over pocket aces, and Camila, you're about to get banged.
Green for green. There you go. Because you're gonna win back. What's the hand?
Camila limps for $2, Josh jams for 100. Actions on me with queen 8 offsuit, and this should just be a fold 100% of the time, but when you're in these private fun games and you're up a bunch of money, you gotta give action, and I know this is your guys' money, but I was invited to play in this game, I'm up a bunch of money, I decide to call here for action and put in the $100. Camila calls as well, so we got ourselves a good old-fashioned 3-way. When you flop ourselves second pair, backdoor flush draw on a jack 8-6 board. Action goes check check, bringing in 2 pair for me, the 6 of hearts. I bet out for $125. This is just a protection bet against hands that contain a king or an ace, or getting value against hands like pocket 7s or pocket 5s. So I bet out for $125, and she folds her cards. It looks like we're ahead of Josh when he says he needs to hit an ace or a king on the river to win it. And of course, the dealer gives him the ace of clubs. No reward for me for giving Josh loose action there with queen 8 offsuit. He's gonna spike the river. He was ahead the whole time, to be fair, but yeah, when I banged Camila in the hand earlier, Josh of course wants to repay the favor.
Film the bang. Oh, he just got double banged.
What a blast this session was. We ended up making only $1 in that 2-5 game, but then came over to this fun Alan Keating 1-2 for $500 and cashed out for $1,526, so a profit of $1,027 through the 2 sessions. In our last 4 sessions, we're up $4,500 and the prize pool keeps on growing. Make sure you guys do all of the steps in order to be eligible. Be a channel member because there's only around 100 of you guys right now, so that's definitely the best odds to win. Wolfmas number 11 is hitting your Explore feeds tomorrow. Make sure you click on that and comment on every video to be eligible. I'll catch you tomorrow in the next video. As always, peace!